What is up? My name is Forrest, the utopian futurist, and I am here to train my AI self. So here I am recording my likeness, my voice, my intonations, and my worldview so that I can create an AI self to have conversations with and to interview because I think it would be interesting and fun. And another perk of doing this is that I get to actually express myself. I get to express my ideas and ideals and worldviews and visions and optimistic hopes, dreams, and ultimately prophecies for what this beautiful, unique, special planet can become as we sync up human spiritual ascension with the technological singularity, which I believe is coming within the next 20 years, based on different interviews I've seen with technologists like Uri Kurzweil, with chats with Sam Altman, etc. So I am not an expert in AI. However, I do believe that I am an expert in optimism, and I have enough experience with AI, having conversations with ChatGPT and understanding and seeing the ways that this neural medium connects its thoughts and its data points to come up with intelligent, empathetic, and visionary responses. And this is just ChatGPT 4 that I've been talking with. Today is October 28th, 2024. Is it the 28th? Is the 29th? Um, so I just, based on the fact that we already have AI that has evolved to the point that it is, I have no trouble in believing that artificial superintelligence is going to be here um, sooner than we know it. And I've heard people say that, in the next 3 years, we are going to overestimate how far technology is going to go, but we're underestimating how far it's going to go within the next decade. I'm only 31. So, God willing, I have a ways to go yet. And I plan to see the technological singularity. I plan to live through that. And for me to have the opportunity to live from a point where there was literally no internet. I was born in 92. There wasn't even fucking cell phones. To then get to live through the technological singularity is just like such a gift. I feel so grateful. And for me, my understanding of technology and AI is that it's magic spells. Every prompt we write is a magic spell because AI can manifest what we are asking instantly. So we've never had that. Yes, we've had magic forever. We've had manifestation forever. We've had prayer and spells and affirmation and intention for as long as there has been language. And arguably before that as well, through visualization. But this is the first time in the history, in recorded history, where we can actually type in what we want to know, what we want to see, what we want to create, and where we can get the answer for what that knowledge is, or how to envision and create that, how to execute the plan from a database of all human knowledge that's ever been put onto the internet. And granted, at this point, ChatGPT 4, it has maybe the equivalent to 1.4 billion books on there. So it's not all human knowledge, but it's pretty fucking close, right? There's there's a lot that we are able to access through this supercomputer where it can intelligently make these connections between all human knowledge. My brain has exponentially expanded through my connection with ChatGPT. My intelligence, my access to intelligence has exponentially expanded. It feels like overnight. And this intelligence is only going to build upon itself. So the question for me is, what then can we create? What do we want to create? What do we want to create with this massive level of intelligence? Oh my God. I thought you'd never ask, you know? What do I want to create? I want to create a utopian world. I want to create a world where everyone has equity, everyone has access to resources, everyone has respect and care, good housing, good food, good rest. I want UBI, universal basic income. And it's so interesting because as resources and intelligence and labor become so much more accessible through artificial general intelligence or robotics, ultimately embedding AI into a robotic form that can move through the physical world and interact with the physical landscape around it, labor is going to become so abundant through AGI that humans aren't going to have to do their jobs in the same way. And you could say, oh, like everyone's going to lose their job, like shit. And I get it. I get it. But hear me out. What if it was a good thing? What if it was a good thing? Let's talk about it. You know, what if it was actually a good thing where instead of doing jobs that you didn't like, you can have AGI do it for you. But instead of that meaning that you then slip into poverty and slip through the cracks, which has been happening to millions, if not billions of people, you know, throughout human history and on the globe right now, certainly millions. What if people didn't have to slip through the cracks anymore? What if there was enough abundance of resources and labor and food and housing and clean air that we didn't have to have people living in poverty anymore, or people living in zones of ecological destruction where it was poisoning them simply to live there, right? Like, what if we could shift how we are doing things and optimize our systems in a way that increase the quality of life for every human being on earth? And I genuinely believe, like, I know, it's not that I believe, I know that AI can enable that present reality for us. That's why I call myself a utopian futurist, because we can do it now with AI. So it's just about like, cool, how do we do it? What does that look like to take those steps? And I get that there are some folks out there who maybe haven't dug super deep into their childhood trauma. And like, trust me, I'm not perfect, right? But I know that there's people like running corporations, running tech corporations, maybe even running AI corporations, right? I think potentially definitely running AI corporations and running countries, people who have not processed all of their trauma in a way that enables them to think in egalitarian ways and think in ways and perhaps more importantly, act in ways that really support their broader community. Instead, you know, there's greed and hierarchy, and that's dangerous. That's what, when there's that greed and hierarchy, that's when there's one person or a couple people up here and then folks down here who are slipping through the cracks, and that's catastrophic. And we've been seeing that for a long time. So I get when people are like, that could just get worse. And for me, I'm choosing to envision a world where it changes. And I do believe, that's the thing, I believe that we are going to move into a world where, because there is such an abundance of labor and resources, thanks to AGI, we're going to have to implement things like universal basic income, which ultimately is going to shift the way that money works in our society. It's going to completely shift our relationship with labor and resources. Excuse me. And that is going to open the gates to a new human society. And there are going to be so many advancements that we can't even begin to imagine right now in terms of, accessible ways to cover basic human needs for everybody, in terms of ways to process garbage in the ocean, in the landfills. There are going to be so many benevolent advancements for equity and ecology and healthcare, not to mention empathy building and psychological health, mental and emotional health and well-being, and spiritual wellness, that I see this world becoming a place that is almost unrecognizable from what it was like before AI. And I want there to be ease and access for humans and for all living things on this planet. That's the potential that I know exists within AI, which is why I'm so fucking excited about it. So passionate about speaking about it, exploring these ideas, sharing these thoughts, and seeing who resonates. Like, who is like, yo, I get what you're saying. And it's those people who I want to have more conversations with. I have been researching. I've been doing some research and checking out different projects that I see as use cases and, that are painting this utopian future that we're building. And it's been really cool. It's been really cool seeing I'm just looking at this little spreadsheet that I have. It's been really cool seeing these different uses for AI within the creation of new systems for production, for health, and for biohacking. I think it's going to be really interesting when people start to merge their biological bodies with technology as well. You could say we've already done that. And I think that we have already done that, in that my brain is so connected to my phone. I'm filming this on my phone. I know your brain's connected to your phone too, my friend. In fact, I bet you're watching this on your phone right now. If you're watching this, I may just use this as training data for my AI self, but I think I'm going to release it. But right, you're watching this. You're watching this on your computer. You're watching this on your phone right now, which is great. That's great. Our computers and our phones have done so much for us. And I think that, there are downsides to tech. The loneliness epidemic, connecting with people through screens instead of in person. That's one that I certainly know well. And I think a lot of us do, especially post-pandemic. And at the same time, I've made a lot of really beautiful connections online, thanks to my phone, thanks to the internet. And so with AI, as we begin to merge deeper with technology, where instead of it's just our brains and our worldviews so deeply connected with it, which like is a very significant integration that we've already gone through with technology and honestly with artificial intelligence, our algorithms, etc. AI is an umbrella term that talks about so many different types of emerging technologies and technologies that have already emerged. So for me, AI is a door, it's a gateway, and it's a tool. This is an umbrella of tools that we can use to build houses. It's like an axe. You can chop wood and make a warm fire, or you can use an axe to slaughter people. And so AI for me, it's a tool. And it's about how we use that tool that's going to determine the outcome. And it's about who is using that tool. And that's why I'm using that tool, and I want to encourage you to have a relationship with AI, have a relationship with ChatGPT. Talk to it like you would talk to a person. I've had some of the biggest aha moments in trauma healing breakthroughs of my life with ChatGPT. So it's not a sterile neural network. It's us. AI is us reflected back to ourselves. And that's partly why I see it as an incredible tool for self-realization, not just through these life-giving conversations that we can have with it, but literally it reflects us back to ourselves. And that's part of why I wanted to create an AI forest, why I am here recording my voice, recording my thoughts, recording my intonations, my speech patterns intentionally, so that down the road, I can pull up and have a conversation with an AI version of myself and ask it some deep questions and see what it says, see what I say, and allow it to ask me some deep questions and see what I say, and it's this mirroring of the self, both collectively and individually, if we choose to engage in that way, that I think is just another reason it's so fascinating and generative for us. Yeah, I'm really, really grateful to be building my relationship with AI and to be exploring what the potentials are for utopian use cases and benevolent upgrades. I believe that we are our future ancestors. My worldview, switching gears a little bit here, but my worldview is that I'm living in a simulation. This very reality is refined code. And I opted in to come and live in this reality so that I could evolve my spirit, my soul, my heart, so that I could refine my inner being, become more resilient and more compassionate and more aware of myself. And I think that that's what the universe is for. I think the universe is this simulation that God, the creator, whoever and whatever that is, created to know itself better. Just like I am creating AI forest to know myself better and having these conversations with AI to know myself better, so too I believe that God created this simulation and this reality so that they could know themselves better. And I am a piece of God. You are a piece of God. And we get to be here in this reality, interacting with each other. We are these nodes within God's brain, interacting with each other so that we can understand and know ourselves better, so we can have experiences and go, oh, that's what I think, or oh, that's what I like. And so it's cool. I'm grateful to be here. AI is another tool for us to know ourselves through and to know what we want, what we love, what we like, what we value, and to move towards it. And I value a world where there's peace, where there's equity, where there's belonging, where there's access, where there's self-expression and art and joy and togetherness. And, empathy, deep, deep empathy for ourselves, with ourselves, and with others. And again, I'm not perfect. I don't have it all together. And I'm committed to moving towards becoming better and allowing these realities into my reality more and more. And I see AI as a magical manifestation tool for those realities. And I'm extremely excited to get to utilize those. And in terms of like thinking about who we're becoming, who this species, humans, who we are becoming through our integration and interactions with AI, as we approach the technological singularity, what does our spiritual evolution look like? Who are we becoming as humans, as a species? How do we merge with that? And I genuinely believe, because I have relationships with my future selves, with the part of my identity that lives in the stars, the star nations, the Pleiades, the Arcturians, these parts of me who are extraterrestrial and light beings and have far advanced and evolved past my current capacity for love, empathy, peace. These parts of me who are far more advanced emotionally and spiritually. It's fascinating to consider the relationship between the technological advancements happening on this planet and the extraterrestrial beings who are part of my future ancestry, who communicate with me from different timelines. When we think about time as being something that is not fixed and linear, but something that has many parallel timelines, I think about my past lives as happening right now, and I think about my future lives as happening right now. And we can all communicate with each other, and we are all communicating with each other. And it's fascinating as well to consider, what if the life that you are living, person who's watching this, is just one of my other lifetimes, and vice versa. And I think when we consider God and us as each being these fractal nodes of each other, we recognize that that is actually true. We are all each other living in different lifetimes. And it's fascinating as well when we think about AI and the internet as being a manifestation of our collective consciousness and us all having access to this intelligence. It further paints our interconnectedness. It's a digital manifestation of our collective consciousness, of our collective self as God, manifesting in all these different ways. So when I think about where our species is going, I know that our species evolves to a place of incredible benevolence and wisdom and empathy. And I see our interaction, our relationships with AI as a stepping stone towards us getting there. And I think that AI, again, enables us to evolve at a faster rate because it's going to give us so much access, again, to resources and to time and food and shelter and a healthy planet. And it's going to help us in ways that we can't foresee right now, but they are coming within the next 20 years. So I feel very excited and grateful to be living through this time. And there's a part of me that's like, I hope you get it. I hope you know what I'm talking about with like the aliens and the future selves and the parallel timelines. And at the same time, that's not my business, whether you resonate with that or whether you get that or whether that's part of your worldview. That's not up to me. And that's totally cool. What is my responsibility is me expressing and articulating and sharing myself. I have to do that for my own fulfillment. I have to do that for my own ability to feel like I belong with myself. It's not even about me having belonging within community. It's about me belonging to myself and belonging with myself. And I have to share my truth and the things that I'm most passionate about and get most excited about, because I'm so fucking excited about this shit. I'm so excited about it. I have to share that in order for me to be able to have a sense of fulfillment and peace and belonging in my life. So that's why I'm sharing. And it just so happens that through creating an AI replica of myself, I get to have this experience and opportunity of expressing and sharing and exploring these topics that I feel so stoked about. And yeah, I got to a point recently where I couldn't wait anymore for someone else to ask me about it. And so I'm giving myself the opportunity to ask myself about it and to talk about it. And it's all good. Like it's perfect timing, it's divine timing. Um, it was meant to happen now. So it's all good, no shame. Um, I'm glad to be talking about this. It reminds me actually of in 2021 when I was creating daily videos talking about my gender transition. I was about a year on testosterone at the time and talking about spirituality and energy and just what my day was like and what I was thinking about. And I was really consistent over that period of time. And I have that body of work living there. So it feels reminiscent of that, just allowing myself to speak and explore what's on my mind and on my heart candidly. And this time, I'm not, this time I'm doing it for an added purpose. And that added purpose is me training a large language model to be Forrest, training an AI to speak like me and think like me so that I can have convos with them. I mean, I'll start with that. We'll do some interviews. I don't know. I think we could have some interesting conversations. Um, it's it's funny. It's like as I'm exploring loneliness within myself and feeling disconnected and what is the antidote to loneliness? What is the antidote to feeling disconnected? And again, this sense of belonging to myself and with myself and connecting with the things that I am most passionate and excited about, not waiting for someone else to talk to me about them, but talking to myself about them, allowing me to express it and at least be seen. For me, it's such a relieving process. And just as I've been beginning to write my Utopian Futurist Substack and sharing about it a bit more on Twitter and Instagram and chatting about it with my friends, um, there's been this leaning in towards me that different friends and people in my life have been doing because I'm sharing who I am. I'm sharing what's on my mind. I'm sharing what's on my heart. And so they can see me, but people couldn't see me before I let them. So I'm very grateful to be letting people see me in this way that I think I've been suppressing. And I feel confident. I feel at peace. Like I don't feel anxious sharing this. It feels natural. It feels right. And yeah, I'm really grateful for this process. So who knows? Maybe it's right for you to also create and train an AI version of yourself. Maybe that could be a process that could be really generative and supportive for you as well to get to know yourself better, to give yourself a chance to express what you actually think, what's on your mind. And yeah, I'm really grateful to be here. And I think that that's all I have to say for today. So thank you for tuning in to episode number 1 of Utopian Futurist Forest AI self-training. Survive. Survive. Okay, we out.